Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Before we get started with today's video, I want to remind everybody that you can become a member to my channel right here on YouTube, and it's real simple. You just click on the join button, and right now we've got eBuzz Central member is only 99 cents. What we're going to be doing is phasing these three in the middle out. The Pro, VIP, and MVP, all those will be transferring to an eBuzz Central member, and you will get all the perks that these have. So you'll have the chance to become a member for just 99 cents. I'm making it affordable because I want the support of all my viewers, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, 99 cents just makes it easy to support the channel and follow the channel. I'm going to close out of this. Now, the next thing I want to do is have a little discussion. Most of you that watch my channel and have known my channel know that I spent almost 5 years on Manjaro as my daily driver, running on my business laptops and using it as my content creation machine. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I started having issues. Well, I went to try to get those issues fixed, and guess what? I didn't get no support from the forums. I didn't get no support from the developers. As a matter of fact, I got a lot of kickback. And when I had answers to issues that they were having and I tried to submit it, they pretty much told me, we don't want your feedback. We don't need your feedback. Well, getting into the community a little bit, I found out that this wasn't uncommon. This is something that happened quite a bit. So I looked for a different avenue to go. And as most of you know, I went to Garuda. Garuda has worked splendidly for me. I've gotten help from the forums. I've gotten help from the developers. Anytime I might have little issues, but guess what? I haven't had hardly any issues during the use. So what we're doing today is I'm going to take and put everything together that I have done on Garuda over the last 9 months. Complete install, overview of my first 30 days, overview of my total 90-day use in it. I'm putting it all together here, and we're going to have a Garuda special. So sit back, relax, enjoy all this information that you're going to get about Garuda, and trust me, I'll put a link below. If you give Garuda a shot, you will not be disappointed. So without any further ado, let's get to the video. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, the first thing I want to tell you, what I've done is I've went through, yes, this is a Windows 11 machine. It's a new laptop. Well, it's not a new laptop. It's a new laptop to me that I just purchased, and I want to put Linux on it. But what I did is I'm doing an example for those of you out there that are using Windows, or as a matter of fact, if you're on a Pop! OS or a Linux Mint, take all the programs or the software that you use and go ahead and pin it to the panel. There's a reason I do this, because right now, before I make this jump, I'm going to look down here at the software that I'm using. I've got a mail program. I've got my file manager down there. I've got Firefox, which is my main browser. I have Microsoft Edge's browser for the simple fact that I have things concerning my work that I have to have it for. I hate that fact, but it is what it is. I've got a snipping tool down here, or screenshot. I've got QBitTorrent, GIMP, Shotcut, VirtualBox, Kodi. I've also got OBS. You can see that it's running. And I have a couple games that I still own from back when I had a Wii and a PlayStation 2 that my kids thoroughly love to enjoy. So sometimes I like to take a machine and unhook it, take it to the living room and hook it up to a television, and me and the kids can have a little retro gaming night. I'm going to show you how to get those set up. And then I've got Clip Grab for when I want to grab something like a video that I've uploaded, and I've done this in the past, and for some reason lost the backup copy that I have to it. I'll go ahead and download it so I can throw it somewhere on storage. But we're going to go through here and put everything that you use down on that panel. Now, before you do anything from this point forward, write every single one of those down. Put it on a list. So that way, when you get over to your Linux install, you know what programs you need to put to make yourself comfortable with this transition. Now, next thing you want to do is you want to go over to your file manager and then go through your downloads, your pictures, your music, and your videos, whatever you might have download on there that you can't lose, you want to keep, because that's what I've already done. If you look right here, I've already got something called carryover. Carryover is the things that I will be taking to the new install. I've already backed those up. They're on a USB. So without any further ado, let's get going. Now, the distribution that I chose today is one that when I tell you, my comments are going to light up and say, you don't ever recommend this for a new user. Well, yes, I do. So what we're going to do is we're going to zip on over to the browser. And what we're going to look up right off the bat is Garuda Linux. Now, here's what we're going to do. Zip on up here, click on Garuda, and then we're going to go to download. Zip on here to download. And I'm going to go with download Dragonized KDE edition. Now, some of you are going to blow up my comments and go, that's ugly, this and that. I don't care what it looks like at this moment in time. I'm actually going to keep Garuda on this system because I've grown kind of accustomed to the way it looks. And there's a few little tweaks that make it look really good. And I'll show you those once we get it installed. So go ahead and just click download. You can do it from SourceForge, torrent. I recommend using a torrent. Zip on over, get Qubit torrent, download it. It takes no time at all. So once you get that downloaded, what you're going to want to do is zip on over and get Balena Etcher. So let's go Balena Etcher. Let's go ahead and click on that. And then what you'll want to do right here is just go down here and download it for Windows. Once that's downloaded, you can close this out. And if you come down here to your file folder, open up Balena Etcher. I already have it installed. So let's go ahead and open that up. And right here, it'll say flash from a file. Is get you a 16 gigabyte USB stick. Drop it into a USB port. We're going to flash from file. So let's go pick the file. There's Garuda. You open it. Then you select your target. Click Lexar. Click select. Once you have that done, all you got to do is click flash. And it'll flash you a USB. It'll take approximately 2 to 5 minutes. Once that's done, you'll want to go over, eject it. And once you made sure you made a list of your primary software and you backed up your items, you can shut your PC down. Now, what you'll want to do is go over and look on the internet. Find out what your boot menu key is for your system. It's either escape, F2, F12, F10. Just look it up. So that way when you reboot, you can hit that key, boot into the USB, and it'll bring you to the screen. Now, I'm going to show you that screen because I don't have screen capture. I'm going to go ahead and show you what you're going to be looking at in VirtualBox so that way you can kind of get a tone of where we're going, okay? So give me just 1 second and I'll get this up so I can show you what you're going to see. Okay, once you boot into Garuda from your USB, this is the screen you will see. You will have an option to boot allowing proprietary drivers, which basically says NVIDIA. If you're using an NVIDIA card on your desktop or on your laptop, I say suggest that. Or you can boot with open source drivers. Now let's go ahead. I don't have an NVIDIA. What I'm using is an i5 with the Intel integrated graphics. So I'm just going to go with open source drivers and hit enter. And I'm not going to cut this video. I'm going to show you everything that you're going to see as it boots up. Now you will see the VirtualBox stuff drop down because I am doing it in virtual, but you'll see a lot of text come on your screen and it's just running in the background to get you started. Sorry about the cough. But when you're not cutting things like this, it makes it, you got to be a little bit more precise. A start job is running for automatic HWD, so be patient. And it tells you how many seconds are left and there's no limit. This is normal. Don't worry about it. A lot of times when you use a Pop! OS or an Ubuntu, well, Pop! OS shows this sometimes now, but sometimes you won't see this running. And it's quite normal to see a splash screen or something like that. I actually kind of like to see the text because I like to know what's going on, and if something should cause a problem, I can find out real quick. There's the beautiful Garuda spinner waiting to get you to your desktop. And it may be a little laggy for you. It may look like it's a little laggy. That's for the simple fact that I'm running it in a VirtualBox on a machine that doesn't have the greatest specs. Like I said, it's got an i5 4-core 8-thread. I believe I got 8 gigabytes of RAM. And I'm running a virtual machine on top of Windows. And Windows is using like 3.8 gigs just to be on the desktop. So that's pretty depressing. And when you boot this from a USB, it's going to be a lot snappier for you because you're not in a virtual desktop. And right here, don't worry about this message. This message is for me because I'm in a virtual box and it says VBox client failed. I'm not worrying about that. I'm just going to close that. Show up here that we're connected to internet. Let's go ahead and close those. It's VirtualBox. And your internet's right here. Now, I do want to tell you, sometimes, I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up. Sometimes if you boot from a USB, the first time you boot in, for some reason, it'll pop up and say, can't find your wireless connection. I have found 99.9% of the times with Garuda, if you just reboot, the wireless connection pops right up. Now, I don't know what causes that. I really don't. But I do know the fact that if I run Garuda in off a USB on a Windows machine, if I boot into it, use it a little bit, and then boot out of it, and then boot back into Windows, Windows clock's messed up. I don't know if it has to do with the UEFI, the BIOS, or whatever that might be. But this is what you'll see once you boot into your USB. What you'll want to do right now, we won't pay any attention to this until we actually have it installed. We'll go ahead and close and install Garuda. And once the installer comes up, it will say welcome. So we will go ahead and click next. Pick your location wherever you are in the world or a place that's close to your location in the same time zone. Click next. Go ahead and verify your keyboard, what kind of keyboard it is. Next. Now right here, it's going to ask you what you want to do. Erase the disk, manual partitioning. Now you will have an option, I do believe, of an automatic partition with swap. If you're on a laptop or you've got low RAM, I would suggest you choose that one. What it is, you'll see down here, click, and then you'll have hibernation without swap, hibernation with swap. Right now, I'm just going to click erase disk, click, see how it popped up? No swap or swap with hibernate. Go ahead and pick swap with hibernate if you have low RAM, and especially if you're on a laptop. Let's go ahead and click next. Right here, you put in your name. We're going to put in eBuzz Central. You put in whatever name you want, and then come down here and pick your super secret password. We'll do that twice. And we're good to go. Then click next, and then it gives you a summary. Gives you your location, keyboard, partitions, and all that good stuff. Then you can go to install, and right here it says the Garuda installer is about to make changes to your disk in order to install Garuda Soaring. You will not be able to undo these changes. That's fine. If you've made it to this point and you're saying, yes, I'm finally going to take the jump and I'm going to do this, just click install now. If not, you can shut the video off, and I appreciate you watching the first 10 minutes. But go ahead and click install. Once you do that, it'll ask you to reboot. Once you reboot, you'll be brought back to the Garuda desktop. I'm going to do that real quickly, and the only thing I'm going to install off camera is OBS. So I will install OBS, and then we will continue once I do that. See you in a second. Okay, so you've booted into your Garuda install. Now, the only thing I've done is I've installed OBS. You can see it down here. It is running. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and right-click it, and I'm going to pin it to my launcher so it'll stay there after I close it out. Now, if you notice up to the left, it says a partial upgrades detected. When I check that. When I installed OBS, it automatically updated a few packages that went along with it. So what I'm going to do at this point, and what you're going to be notified of when you first boot into yours, is that you need to update your system. So we're going to go ahead and go through that process right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here and click on Update System. And it'll ask for my password. So go ahead and put in your super secret password. And it's going to go ahead and synchronize the package databases. Now at this point in time, I would usually cut and go away. But right now it's refreshing the mirror list using rate mirrors. Please be patient. This may take a little bit. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to stay right on this screen until it's done, and I will be right back with you. Okay, the mirrors have refreshed, and it's asking me if I want to proceed with the install. Total download size is 815 megabytes. Total installed size is going to be right at 2,191 megabytes. So, yes, I want to continue because I do want to be completely up to date. And right here, you see I've got 0 of 195 packages. I'm just going to go forward a little bit. I'll make sure that I come back before this is done because I don't want to be accused of cutting my videos in a certain way to make it look easier, but we're just installing packages. So we're one of 195. I will see you all very shortly. Okay, as you can see, it's speeding right along and it's almost done. Now it's checking keys in the keyring and checking the package integrity. So I should be fully up to date here very shortly. Now it's checking available disk space. It's performing a snapper for you automatically. That's what I do love about Garuda, is it will take a snapshot of your machine prior to an upgrade. So that way, should it mess up, you can always go back and deal with that. You can fix it and go back to an operating system that was running just fine before the update, and maybe that way you can point out or find out what's causing the issue. Now, I will say this. Like I said, I was tired of people choosing Ubuntu or Pop OS. I chose Garuda because it's one of the easier Arch distributions to use. It's not Arch, but it is based on Arch, which is pretty nice. So we're going to go right here, and it says it's reloading System Manager, and it's doing some updating and upgrading. It doesn't really take that long, especially if you're used to something like a Windows machine. If you're used to updating on Windows, that is an utter nightmare. I think the last time I did a Windows 11 install for a client and upgrade, it took close to 2.5 hours, and that was with a person that had business internet. So it wasn't like he was using cheap internet and it was taking me forever. It was just a ridiculous nightmare. Now it's syncing all files. It's checking for plugin updates. System updated. So what time is it? 7:58. All right, guys, I do want to point something out right here. I do believe we started this update at 7:54. So that update took a total of 4 minutes. And when I installed Garuda, when I booted into it, I wrote the time down. And when I was finished and it said time to reboot, was 6 minutes. As of this point right now, actually sitting in front of a computer waiting for it to install an update, I have spent 10 minutes. Now, let me ask you, what can you do in 10 minutes on a Windows machine? Absolutely nothing. So let's go ahead and close out of this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And right here, you've got a couple things I want to point out. So we're going to go over here to the Garuda Assistant. Now, the Garuda Assistant, if you come to this before it notifies you, you can do a system update right here. Refresh your mirror list, remove orphan files. You can take snapshots of your system. You've got system components, settings, system specs, and other diagnostics. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Then you've got Garuda Gamer. Hey, I need to stop here because if you do remember earlier in this video, I said I needed to get a couple emulators. Now you can get Steam and Heroic and Lutris, anything that you want right here. Proton. I hear Proton's doing really well with AAA games on Steam, so that may be something you want to look at. Actual games you can download or emulators. What I'm looking for is Dolphin because I had that prior, and I want to find the PlayStation. I know I'm taking too much time, guys. You're ready to get on. Oh, there it is right there. I'm going to go ahead and apply. And we're going to go ahead and let those download. And it shouldn't take too long. 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Total download size, 23 megabytes. Total installed size, just under 100 megabytes. And it's performing a snapper post snapshot for the following configurations. And it's syncing all file systems. Press enter to exit. So if I'm correct, I should be able to go up here and click on Dolphin. And there's my Dolphin emulator. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Yes. And as you can see, it's open right here. I'm going to go ahead and pin that to my launcher because that's an application I had a while ago at the beginning of the video. And then I also want to look for PC. I'm trying to remember, is it PCS? Yeah, there it is right there. Let's go ahead and open that up as well. And I'm going to go ahead and right click and pin that to launcher and close. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys with setting it up, but what I am going to do here shortly is transfer some files over and show you that it does open the games that I own up in the system. Now, that gets rid of Dolphin and PC SX2. I've got a few more to go, but we're not done here yet. You've got Garuda Settings Manager right here. And it's got your hardware configuration, your kernel, your language packages, user accounts, and things like that. We can go ahead and close out of that. As you can see, this welcome screen is quite handy and quite helpful for you, especially if you are new to the Linux community or new to Garuda. Now, what I do want to do real quick, let's go over here and go to Settings. And I want to change something, because right now, if you open the File Manager, I am not a big fan of the icons. I like these, they don't bother me, but when I get in here, I want something that looks a little different. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and go to Appearance, and I'm going to go to Icons, and I'm going to switch those over to the candy icons and apply. And that has been applied, so let's close out of that. Then we can come down here, and there you go. I like that folder view a little better. And then when you go into stuff like pictures or videos and things like that, it looks a little different. And then what I really like is you get a little snapshot over here. See my videos popping up? It shows that I got a couple videos in there, 2 items 10 minutes ago. So I know it's just personal preference. And then you've got Quick Access System Cleaner. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and click on Add and Remove Software. So we'll go ahead and open this up over here. And as you can see, it's populated. Now, what we need to do is I need to go down here. I want to keep the Garuda Welcome here. I do want to keep Console. Fire Dragon is their version of a web browser. It's based on Firefox, but it's got a lot of privacy and ad blockers and stuff like that pre-built into the web browser, so you don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize that. See, it comes with Dark Reader, so you've got a dark mode. What I do want to check out real quick is I want to go Mandalorian wallpaper, because I do believe I had one on that Windows machine I showed you all earlier. We'll go ahead and let that open up. And as you can see right here, I need to update because we're having some issues with the Google, because it pulls all of its... This is SearX. This is Garuda's own little search engine, and it pulls results from DuckDuckGo, from Yahoo, from Google, but you don't get tracked. That's what I really like about it. So let's go ahead and go over to Images and see if those will open up, because I do want my picture of the Mandalorian, and I do believe that is it right there. So let's click on it, right click. Let's go ahead and open that image in a new tab. And it opened it up, so let's right click and save. We'll just go over to Pictures, and we will save it there. And now we can close out of here. I know this is boring to y'all, but this is stuff that you all are going to be doing. So now that we got the picture downloaded, let's go ahead and right click and configure desktop and scroll up. Oh, I got to add the picture. So let's go to add image. There's the image right there. Let's go ahead and open that up. Scroll up to the top. Let's pick that Mandalorian and click apply. Let's close out of that. And there we go. We got a brand new background. It's the Mandalorian. It's the same background we had a while ago when we started. So let's look up Spectacle. Spectacle is the screenshot tool that comes with Garuda, and I'm not a big fan of it, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. I know a lot of people say, why would you remove it when it's a totally good tool that works? Because there's another tool I like better, and I want to utilize it. Got to put in my super secret password and get it correct. And let's go ahead and uninstall that. And it's in the process as we speak. Command is finished. So now we're going to look for FlameShot. And FlameShot is an awesome tool. If you haven't used it, I suggest you definitely give it a try. It is a very powerful screenshot tool, and it gives you a lot of options that you can use after you've taken the screenshots. Whether you want to put notes on it, whether you want to point things out with arrows, circles, it just gives you so many tools and so many different ways you can use it. I don't need GNOME Shell, but I do want to add Grim because it is a screenshot utility for Wayland, and it helps FlameShot out quite a bit. So we've got all of that selected. All we have to do now is go ahead and zip on up to the check mark and click Install. Click Yes. Put in your super secret password, and it will start installing it. If I'm off just a little bit with my audio, there's a reason. My microphone died. I'm using a backup microphone, and I'm having to do a voiceover. So if I'm messing things up, I'm sorry. And as you can tell right there, I've lost my icon for Garuda App Manager. We'll have to figure that out here in a second. But we looked up FlameShot. We go ahead and start it. And as you can see, it pins it to the panel up top. So anytime you need to take a screenshot, you just click on it, select your area, and there you go. Your screenshot's taken, and you've got a lot of different tools down here you can use to make adjustments to your screenshot, whatever you might want to do. But we're just going to save it at this point. Go ahead and save it in Pictures and click Save. And then you should get a notification in the upper right letting you know that the screenshot has been successfully saved. So we'll close out of that. Now, like I said, if you get a chance, definitely take a look at FlameShot. It is a great tool, and it makes your job extremely easy if you're needing to take a lot of screenshots and put annotations on them and things like that. So now we're going to look for qBittorrent, if I can spell it right. And let's click on that. And let's go ahead and click on Install and click your check mark. Let you know what dependencies will be included. Put in your super secret password, and let's move forward. And it is installing rather smoothly. It's performing a snapshot, and it is finished. So qBittorrent is installed. Now, if you go up here, I want to go ahead and see if I can fix this icon right now. So let's go over here. Let's choose icon. Well, wait. Let's see if we can clear the icon and the Garuda logo come back. It doesn't. So let's go ahead and choose an icon. Let's just put in Garuda and see if they give us something. There it is right there. Let's go ahead and click on that. Click OK and apply. And there it is. We have our Garuda logo back. Now, let's go up here and let's open up qBittorrent. There it is right there. Let's go ahead and open it up. Yes, we agree. And there's qBittorrent. Open it up and ready to go. Let's right click on the icon. Let's pin it to the launcher. And let's go ahead and close out of that. And as you can see, it pinned it to the tray up top. And I bet what you're thinking right now is with everything getting pinned up top, I bet we're using an enormous amount of resources with everything that's supposedly running in the background right now. And it's not really that bad, to be quite honest. If you look at Windows, let's just do a comparison. Let's open up a terminal. Let's go ahead and maximize, and it gives you a nice information up here. Garuda Linux 5.18.8 Zen 1 kernel. KDE Plasma 5.2, 5.2. But just to be on a desktop in something like Windows, you're using anywhere from 3.5 gigabytes. Let's go ahead and open up an HTOP right here. And at present, with console open or your terminal open and qBittorrent and FlameShot open in the background, you're at about 1.89 gigabytes. So you're still using 2 less gigabytes than Windows. And what's bugging me right now is I'm going to have to check the CPU in this laptop, because it shows right now that one of the threads is running at 86%. I've seen this on a couple other distributions. Let's open System Monitor and see if it reflects the same thing. Let's go to History, and it does show that this Core 2 is running at about 87 to 88%. That's something I'll have to investigate, because I believe it was doing it on Windows as well. So I may be looking at a processor change in the near future. But these are just some of the tools that you have that you can look at in your Garuda install. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Let's go ahead and close out of Terminal. Let's close that window. Now we're going to look for another application, which is GIMP. And there it is right there. And that's the GNU image manipulation program. We're going to go ahead and install it on this system because we had it on the other one. So let's click Install. And what you want to do right here is just go ahead and click everything. Ain't nothing worse than getting into some image manipulation and finding out you don't have all the tools that you need. So click all those. Let's go ahead and install that. Click Yes. Go ahead and put in your super secret password. And it will start the install. And it'll show you down, we're at 10 of 25. So it's installing 25 packages, checking the integrity. And it's making a snapshot of the system prior to install, so that way should something go wrong, you can go back, refresh from your snapshot, and start from where you were prior to the issue happening. And GIMP takes a little longer to install. It's not too bad because it is a rather large program, about 200 megabytes. It ain't too bad though. And it looks as though it has finished. So let's go up here. Let's go ahead and do a search for GIMP. There it is right there. Let's go ahead and open that up. And it'll take a little bit on the first start because it loads everything into it. And there it is right there. And the icon pops up. Let's right click on it. Let's go ahead and pin that to launcher. Let's go ahead and maximize. And you can see right here, let's look at what version of GIMP we are presently running. And that would be 2.10.32. So the newest version. That's pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and close out of that. And let's zip on up here and close out of that. Now, the next application we're going to take a look at is Kdenlive. I'm not going to go with Shotcut on this install. So let's go ahead and install. And I'm going to include everything here except for record my desktop because I do use OBS Studio. So let's click OK. And then we can go ahead and install that. It says the following 20 packages need to be retrieved, 53 megabytes. Let's go ahead and put in our super secret password and let's install that. One of the reasons I'm not using Shotcut is because it's had issues here for a little while of using way too much RAM on a Linux machine. I don't know what the issue is, but every time it seems that I use Shotcut on Linux, when I'm rendering something, it goes, you're out of RAM, you're out of RAM, you're out of RAM. And I just don't want to deal with that. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and just use Kdenlive. Okay, it looks as though the command finishes okay. It is installed on our system. The backup snapshot has been taken. Let's go up here and look for Kdenlive. And there it is right there. Let's go ahead and open that up. The icon should pop up down on our launcher down there. Once it does, we will go ahead and pin it. There it is right there. Let's go ahead and right click it. Pin to launcher. And let's go ahead and maximize. And there is Kdenlive. I like that it's using the Garuda theme inside of it. That's pretty awesome. I can adjust everything here, but what I want to do real quick is I want to go ahead and zip on over. Let's open up a file, and I'm going to drag a short little video in here and make sure that I can do the things that I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this one right here, drag it over into the project bin. Let's close that out. Go ahead and switch the frame rate. And it's done, so let's go ahead and drag it, and we can drag it on the timeline. And let's see if it will play. Okay, we're just going to do a real quick test right here, and it plays just fine. Now, can I extend the timeline and make the clip longer so I can do finer adjustments? Yes, I can. We can scroll back over. We can make it a little bigger there. Yes, so it's... Okay, we're just going to do it pretty easy. Okay, so I can come in here and do all the adjustments I need to do. So let's close out of that. No, I don't want to save the changes. Cancel. I made a mistake, guys. Sorry about that. Let's close. Save changes. No, I do not want to save changes. So that is done. Okay, so let's come back up top. Now we're going to look at clip grab. Let's go ahead and click on install. And right here, we're going to go ahead and check yes. Let's go ahead and put in our super secret password. And it's installing. Command line is finished, so it's done. And you know what? Something's bothering me down here. These icons aren't really blending well with this background. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and change it to a darker background and see if that helps out a little bit. Yes, it does. I like that. That looks much better. Much better. So let's go over here and let's take and do a search for clip grab. There's clip grab right there. Let's go ahead and open it up. And it is open. So let's go ahead and zip down to the icon, right click, pin it to the launcher, and we now have clip grab installed. Now the next application we're going to look for is Kodi. I love using Kodi. I have a big movie and television series collection, and it's just easier for me to play on Kodi. So let's go ahead and add all of those. I probably shouldn't have added Pulse Audio because I'm running Pipewire, but it should red flag me at the end. That's why I selected it, because I want to show you, even though you're running Pipewire, this system will not let you break it. So it's installing 14 of 14 packages, and when you get to the bottom here, it should let you know that Pulse Audio will do you want to see? There you go. Pulse Audio and Pipewire are in conflict. I'm not going to complete that transaction. Go ahead and put in my super secret password. Proceed with installation. Yes. So I will go ahead and install. But I skipped the Pulse Audio. Right here or in conflict, remove pipe wire. No, I'm not going to remove it. It will not mess up Pulse Audio. So let's press any key to continue, and we should be able to enter here a couple times, and it just gives us, yep. So let's go ahead and close out of that. So we're still running pipe wire, and Pulse Audio won't screw us up. Now let's go and do a search for Kodi, and let's go ahead and open it up, and it seems to be opening just fine. There it is right there. You can scroll down, scroll up. Everything seems to be pretty smooth. Let's go ahead and minimize it. Let's go ahead and make it full screen again, and everything scrolls just fine. And it doesn't seem to be having any issues, so we'll go ahead and close out of that. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and zip back over to Add and Remove Software. So we have Octopi's back open. Next thing we're going to do a search for is GNOME boxes. Now, I could use VirtualBox, but I truly love using GNOME boxes. And there it is right there. So let's go ahead and click on that, and let's install. And it'll show you all the dependencies. Put in your super secret password, and it is installing GNOME boxes. Now, GNOME boxes is a great emulation program. A lot of people I know love using QEMU. I love it too. It's just easier for me to use GNOME boxes with my workflow and what I do. It's doing the snapper post snapshot for the following configuration, so it's saving us there. And let's zip on up here, and let's go ahead and open GNOME boxes so we can pin it to the launcher. So let's do the search real quick. Boxes, there it is right there. Let's go ahead and open it up. And there is GNOME boxes ready to go. So let's go down here, right click, pin it to the launcher, and close it. And we will go ahead and close out of the program. Now the next thing we're going to do a search for is Edge. Microsoft Edge, actually. And I know, why are you putting Edge on a Linux machine? Like I said in the beginning of the video, I have Microsoft Edge for work purposes. I have to have the ability to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and install this. Let's go ahead and do all of these. No, we don't need GNOME keyring. And we will go ahead and install it. And this does take a little longer to install. Not a long time, but it takes a little longer. Let's go ahead and put in our password. And it's going to start building it from the bin. Now, I know everybody out there watching this is like, this is blasphemy. Microsoft Edge on Linux. You're defeating the whole purpose. Trust me, I have most of the tracking in Microsoft Edge shut off. But when you're using your computers and you have a business aspect to it, and you need to have the ability to do certain things, you have to have it on there. And it has to be on your machine, because that's what puts food on the table for my kids. I always tell everybody, use the tools that's right for you. If you love Windows, use that tool. If you love Mac, use that tool. Okay, Edge is done, so let's go up here and do a search. Microsoft Edge. It's right there. Let's go ahead and open it up. And once it opens it up, definitely want to go down and pin it to our launcher. Let's go ahead and minimize it. Right click, pin to launcher, and it is there. And then I'm going to move it over here behind Fire Dragon. And I will probably install Firefox at a later time as well. But there is Microsoft Edge. It's installed. It's real easy to install applications on a Linux machine. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and, where's Dolphin? I'm going to go ahead and open up Dolphin. And I'm going to show you that it works out of the box. It's easy. So all we got to do is go over here, and we need to open up a game file, which Dolphin can recognize and actually use. There's the Wii game. I maximized it so it's easier to see. There it is right there. So let's go ahead and open that up, and we'll see if it plays. And there you go. It's starting up. There's a version of Mario Kart Wii that I have the disc to. I've just ripped it and made a copy of it to put on my PC because I don't have a Wii anymore. And it's starting up inside the emulator here. Doesn't seem to be having any problems. Let's go big screen. And I do have it muted so you can't hear the audio because I do not want to get hit with a copyright strike. It's not muted, so I will definitely have to make some changes here. Okay, I will have to mute that out so it doesn't show up. So I'll have to do some editing after the video. But that shows you right there that Dolphin does work. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And that, guys, was a real quick look at Garuda, getting it installed, leaving Windows, installing applications, making it easy to install applications. I don't know what else you can ask for. Stop recommending just Linux Mint. Stop recommending just Pop! OS. If you're somebody that wants to try Linux and wants to give Linux a shot, definitely zip on over, download Garuda, and take it for a test drive. I'm crazy. Everybody will tell me I'm crazy. You do not point new people at Arch or Arch-based distros. I'm sorry, this is Garuda, this isn't Arch. But you've got to take a leap of faith sometimes, and I think that's definitely the time to do it, is when you're ready, jump on Garuda and give it a shot. First thing you're going to always hear, whether it's on a forum or whether it's on videos, is that Garuda runs too heavy. Now, I took a screenshot before I turned OBS on just so I could kind of show you what I was dealing with at rest. And at rest, I'm using about 710 megabytes, and that's before anything started up. But what you will notice is if you go up here, you look, I have very low CPU usage. I have a couple spikes here when I went online or I opened up a browser. But other than that, I haven't had any issues at all with too much memory or memory drain. Now, when I ran Manjaro, I used to have a lot of issues with lost memory or memory drain. I haven't experienced that on Garuda. Garuda has been really tight. It's been awesome. And it's handled, like I said, everything I have thrown at it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to go ahead and open up my HTOP or system monitor. And right now, I'm running at about 1.5 gigabytes. Now, I do have James DSP for Linux running in the background and OBS running in the background. But when those get shut down and I'm done recording my video, it falls back down around 600 to 800 megabytes. It fluctuates a little bit. Let me tell you something, for a KDE desktop, that is very impressive. Now, a lot of times when you get it installed and you start installing your applications, you start having a lot of errors. This was a consistent issue with me on Manjaro. I love the overall performance of Manjaro the whole time I was on it, but there always seemed to be an issue, something I had to fix, something that took time away from my work that I had to fix. Now, having said that, I was happy with Manjaro because it really didn't ever take me that long to fix the issues. But let me tell you how refreshing it is to have an Arch-based operating system that I can put on my machine. Other than one thing that I'll bring up here in a little bit, I have not had to jump through hoops to do anything. And one of the reasons, I believe, is if you go up and you look up Garuda here, you've got what's called your Garuda Assistant. And this is a very important tool. System update, I run on a daily basis. Now, if I tried this on Manjaro or I updated every time Manjaro come out with an update, there was always a little something I would lose. Something would not necessarily break, but it would tweak it to a point that I couldn't fix it back to the way I had it. And I just had to deal with it. I just thought that was the nature of the beast and just lived with it. You don't have to anymore with Garuda. Right here, you've got your system update. You've got refresh mirror list. This tool right here has helped me out quite a bit because I can just zip on over here and click on system update. And they're just scripts that run in the background and they pop up and it will actually show you the terminal, what it's running while it's doing it. Or you can go to console down here and actually put the update in yourself and be good to go and not have to worry about it. It just makes it really easy, especially if you're a newer user, because that's what I hear all the time. I can't believe you're recommending Garuda to new users. Why not? The learning curve on Garuda is really not that steep. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this, and I want to show you something else. We come back down here. You go to Garuda Welcome, and I'm going to open this one up. This right here is probably my favorite because it has everything in one place. You've got your Garuda Assistant, your Garuda Gamer, your Garuda Settings Manager, Partition Manager, Add and Remove Software, Chaotic AUR, your website. It gives you everything right here that you need. And I'm going to pin that previous video at the end of this video so you can watch it. It's me going through the complete install of Garuda and really how easy it was to set everything up. Now, a lot of people will point out that if you look down here, I have the panel and I got away from the Latte dock that comes with Garuda. It was a really smooth and easy change for me. I loved Latte dock, but at the same time, I like the default panel better. Plus, Latte dock was a little heavy for me. All it came down to was just going up, quitting Latte dock, coming down here, going over to Octopi, and opening up Octopi, and just going up and looking Latte dock up and uninstalling it. Now, if you do that yourself, or here, I'm sorry, just put in Latte, and you click on it, all you got to do is instead of install, it says remove right here. You click on it, it'll show you the dependencies that are getting taken off. You click OK, and then come up here and hit this check mark, and it takes Latte dock off. Now, once you do that, all you got to do is right click on your screen, come down here and add panel, and just add a default panel, which is what I did. And then after I did that, of course, I pinned all the applications that I use most of the time on it, and then I made it a floating dock. If you go over here and hit edit mode and go to more options, you got a floating panel. I'm sorry, I said floating dock. You've got a floating panel or a standard panel. And if you look down at the bottom, that is what it looks like. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and go back to edit mode, go to more options, put my floating panel back up, and if you see, you're good to go down there. Just to give you an idea of what kind of hardware I'm running this on. It is an IdeaPad 3 that I come across with 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 8th or 9th generation i5. I'm not really sure on that yet. I'll get more information on that in the future. But I'm also running an external monitor that I use when I do most of my video editing. It's just easier for me to see. No problems hooking up the second panel. Garuda recognized it right off the bat, and I have had no issues at all. And one thing I do like is if you take a screenshot with Spectacle, it actually takes a screenshot of both monitors. I like that. It's probably nothing new to you guys, but I've had issues in the past with screenshot tools. Now, as you can see on the bottom, I've also changed. I want to go ahead and let you all know this. I changed because a lot of the times what people complain about is they do not like the icons Garuda comes with. So I come down here to icons, and you have plenty of them to choose from. But what I did is I went and downloaded an icon set called UOS. And if you think they look familiar, they are. They're the same icons that Deepin uses. And I just love the overall look of them better. It makes it look a little bit more sharp and classy to me. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. And then when you open up Dolphin Manager, you get better looking icons over here and just easier to see things. And there's that screenshot I took a while ago, so let's go ahead and delete that. I did run into an issue. Down here, I'll just let you know, I've got Dolphin, Fire Dragon, Microsoft Edge because I need it for some of the work that I do. And then I've got KSysGuard, Console, GNOME boxes, OBS is running in the background, Kdenlive, Shotcut, VLC, GIMP, OnlyOffice Desktop, Spectacle's your screenshot, Simple Note, great tool if you need a alternative to OneNote or what is Google's version of it. I can't remember. See, I've already pushed Google out of my mind and I don't even remember the name of their application. And then Kodi and then QBitTorrent. Now, if you are somebody that actually runs Kodi, sometimes when you try to install Kodi from Octopi, let's go up here and look it up. Let's open up Octopi. And we will go ahead and look for Kodi. Now right here it's got Kodi 19.4-5. I tried installing it from here, but I was missing several dependencies. Now this isn't just a Garuda issue. This is a Linux issue across the board. I had issues with it on my son's laptop that runs Pop! OS. I've had issues on it with my daughter's laptop that has Linux Mint on it. Sometimes Kodi would not gather all dependencies. So as a person that uses Kodi, what I ended up having to do was install Flatpak. Now, a lot of people, when you install Flatpak on Garuda, are like, okay, where are the instructions? Just go over and do a search. Install Flatpak on Garuda. Or you could even put install it on Arch. do your search, and you'll see flatpak.org right here. Just come down here, and that's the simple command I used to install Flatpak onto the system. Then I restarted my system, and then all I did was install Kodi Flatpak terminal, and the search will come up, and you just scroll down a little bit, and there it is right there, installing Kodi Flatpak via terminal. I just put Flatpak install flathub tv.kodi.K on Kodi, installed, took about 15 seconds, and then I had Kodi installed. Now, if you're not familiar with Kodi, it's just a multimedia center. If you've got a lot of movies and things like that that you want to use, you can. Me, I just go and use it for a lot of content that I already own, and subscriptions I already have, whether it be Disney Plus or Netflix. You can integrate that if you would like to. That's truly up to you. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Now, what I do want to do is go back over to settings. I want to scroll down and go about this system. And it's running KDE version 5.2.5.4. We are running the 5.18.16 Zen kernel. I have the Intel Core i5, like I said, 7.3 gigabytes of RAM, which is really 8. The Mesa Intel UHD graphics. It's a Lenovo laptop, and there it shows you it's an IdeaPad 3. Now, I will have to say that this laptop did used to have Windows 11 on it, and it was the slowest, laggiest system I probably have ever used with Windows 11 on it. But when I put Garuda on here, it just came to life. It really did truly come to life. I don't want to keep carrying on and on, but here's what I'm going to say. If you want to give Arch a try, or if you just want to give Linux a try, Garuda makes it simple. Garuda right now, where it is in the timeline of how long it's been out, is ahead of anywhere that Manjaro was at the same time in their development. Like I said, I've had a couple hiccups, but most of those have been with like Kodi and things like that. When it comes down to general functionality, when it comes down to just getting your work done, getting things done and moving around the system and working, no issues at all. I'm going to reiterate this because I want you to know how important this is. This is the best Linux experience I've ever had. Now, will it be for you? I don't know. I don't know what your workflow is. I don't know what you do with your computer. But what I'm saying is, if you've got the time, download it, throw it on a USB, give it a shot, run it off of a live USB. I think you will be very, very impressed. It doesn't come with a bunch of bloated software. It does come with what some people would say is gaudy backgrounds and icons and things like that. But those are things that can be changed in less than 5 minutes. It took me less than 5 minutes to get rid of the latte dock, add my floating panel, change my icons, and give me something that I myself prefer over what they have out of the box. But other than that, it's the greatest experience I've ever had. Now, I will pin the video at the end of this one. It'll be in my suggested, of where I showed you how to step-by-step install Garuda and how to go get your software that you want to use. Let's recap. This is Garuda Linux. I've been using it for a month. I've had no issues. It's updated on a daily basis and hasn't broken. It is the best Linux experience I've ever had. Just wanted to make a real quick video to basically cover my last 3 months on Garuda Linux. About a month ago, I did a video showing an in-depth install, and I think about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I did a video saying it's the greatest Linux experience I've ever had. Now I want to revisit that. Can I still say today that it's the easiest operating system and cleanest feel that I've had ever using Linux? Now, having said that, there's a lot of things I take into account. The first of those is resource usage. Generally, when I use an operating system, I don't really get too picky about the resource usage. But one of the things that really pulled me into Garuda, and if you look at this screenshot right here, at rest, with nothing running in the background, I'm using about 700 megabytes of memory, 730.8 to be exact. Now, people would ask, why am I screenshotting this? Well, at present, I'm running dual monitors. I've got OBS in the background, and I do have console open in the background. So if I switch over to that monitor real quick, that's what you'll see on your screen now is the second screen. I've got the console open right here, and then I have OBS running up here, and then I've got, of course, my image viewer on the first screen. So I'll go ahead and switch back to my first screen. And being lightweight is really important to me, but it's not so important that I want to use an XFCE or maybe a window manager that gets me down to 200 or 300 megs, because I'm not really that crazy about keeping that number that low. What I do say, though, is those of you that are running Windows 10 or Windows 11 know that when you're open just to desktop, you're running anywhere from 2.7 gigs of RAM all the way up to 3.3 gigs of RAM. Now, I have people all the time tell me in my comments, hey, unused RAM is wasted RAM. Well, I agree and disagree with you. If I'm opening up applications, say it be OBS like I have going on my second monitor right now, yes, use my RAM. That's what it's there for. But just to be open up in desktop, I'm out. I'm out. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out. Another thing I want to point out is the fact that I truly love Fire Dragon. Now, once you open Fire Dragon up, I have it set to open up to the CRX search engine. Now, I do want to point something out. If you want to use Fire Dragon and CRX as your search engine, there's a couple of tweaks you're going to have to make. Like right now, let's say we were doing a search for Linux, and you bring that up and go over to images. You'll see that you got images that just aren't loading. And this bothers me sometimes, especially if I'm in a design mode and I'm doing a thumbnail or I'm doing a wallpaper and I've got to have images that have transparency included with them, or just images in general. This happens. Let me show you how to fix that. All you got to do is go up here to Preferences, go down here to Privacy, and disable the proxy on your images. Image proxy disabled. Go ahead and save. Go back home. Now what you want to do is, let's do a search for Linux. Put that in the screen. Then go to Images, and all of them should load pretty smooth and pretty quickly. So you don't have an issue there. That's just a quick tweak you can do. Now, another thing, if you go over here and do Home, and let's do a search real quick. I'm just going to put eBuzz. I should have put eBuzz Central. Let me put eBuzz Central in there. And we go to Images. That looks good. Go back to General. You'll see over here your search URL is clear. Now, sometimes, let's go over here. If you go to Preferences, you can go to Engines. You can assign engines. I'm pulling right now things from Bing, from DuckDuckGo, from Quant. Now, you could add Google if you wanted to, but here's some of the issues you might have with that. Let's go ahead and go down here and click Save. Now, let's go Home. Now, you want to go to eBuzz Central. And it'll show over here that we had some images that timed out. Brave crashed and Google suspended too many requests. That happens sometimes here. So what you do is you just go over to Preferences, go to your engines, turn off Brave, turn off Google. So now I'm getting them from Quant, DuckDuckGo, and Bing. And Bing has some pretty good searches, but the key here, guys, is that you're getting the results from these search engines, but you're not sharing your personal information. So let's go ahead and go to Save, go back to Home. Now, when you do that same search, you can pull it up. It'll be clear over here. You have no red flags. Now, what you want to do is make sure that, let's say we want to visit MX Linux. Now, this also has, if you look up here, uBlock Origins up here. That'll block any trackers that might pop up. You can click on it, and it'll show you since install. I've blocked 869. Domains connected, 10 out of 10. Blocked on this page, 3. Now, here's what's weird is because this is MX Linux, but there were 3 trackers on this page. So that goes to show you, I know for a fact that MX Linux isn't tracking people, that these have been integrated into the web, and it's just things you want to block. Now it shows that we've blocked 7. So let's go click it. Blocked on this page, 7. So there have been 7 attempts to track me on this page. Just something to keep your eye on, guys, and keep your head up and keep alert about your information when you're surfing on the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of Fire Dragon. I've loved it. I use boxes. It's been a nice, smooth, consistent feel. Every time I boot something up, it makes things easy. I'm going to go right here. Let's go to HTOP. And right now we're running about 1.7 gigs of RAM. And remember, the reason is because right now at present, I am running OBS in the background on a second monitor. Now, Garuda Assistant, or Garuda Welcome, when you open it up, this meets you at every boot. Unless you shut it off, then it won't. Then you got to go search it up. This Garuda Assistant right here has made things easy. What I have noticed is every time I do a system update, I've done it from right here. I've had no issues. Zero. You can clear caches down here. You can clear package caches down here. I've been on this for 90 days now, and I have no issues at all. I have updated, and nothing has quit working. Everything stays smooth. Even about a month ago when you had the Grub update that really messed with some Arch installs, no issues here. Zero. I never skipped a beat. I panicked when I read that article online and I was like, oh no, should I update? Should I wait to update? And I'm not had any issues. It did not affect Garuda. I mean, at present, I'm running 5.19.8 Zen 1 Zen kernel. And it's just on an IdeaPad, Lenovo. I've got an old hard drive, 8 gigabytes of RAM. And I'm doing all my video editing. I'm doing all my picture editing. I'm doing all my thumbnail creation. I'm doing my business. I mean, guys, there's nothing I can say right now that would be sideways or bad about this operating system. Even when I was on Manjaro, even when I used Manjaro, every update, it seemed like I had to redo something. I had to fix a theme, or I had to get a application back to running. And I can't say that on Garuda. Now, doing content the way I do for Linux, I'm going to keep Garuda on a laptop. But at this moment in time, I've got to find something else to try to use as a daily driver. For the simple fact that if I'm going to do reviews about Linux and what's going on and what's out there, I've got to switch up. And that's where you guys come in. I'm going to need some suggestions. What do you guys think? What is the next operating system I should give a shot and make my daily driver to see if I can use it on a daily basis and create my content for the YouTube channel? I'll put that in you guys' hands. 3 months later, Garuda Linux, everything is simple. Everything is up and running. Everything is stable. I'm running dual monitors. Everything runs smooth. I'm just telling you guys, if you want to try an OS and you want to try something you haven't given a shot to yet, and especially if you haven't tried Arch, this makes things easy. I know this is Arch based. It's not pure vanilla Arch, but if you're somebody that doesn't have the time to sit there and toy and tinker with an OS every day, Garuda has taken all those problems and made it real easy to run an Arch-based distro and made it easy for you to get work done in that Arch-based distro. So, what's my verdict after 3 months? Garuda Linux is still the best Linux experience I've ever had. Garuda Linux is still the most stable experience I've ever had. Garuda Linux is the most non-resource intensive experience I've ever had. And Garuda Linux, hands down right now, in my opinion, when it comes to Arch distributions, is the best Arch distribution out there. And that's comparing it against Manjaro, Endeavor. I know my comments will blow up. Endeavor's great. Endeavor is it, man. And it might be for you, but for me, this is what I like. Please do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. The more likes I get keeps me in YouTube's algorithm, which means the information you just saw in this video, if it was helpful to you, it can be helpful to somebody else. And subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. And if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, we are on 3 separate platforms: YouTube, Utreon, and Odyssey. And you can become members on all 3. On YouTube, it's only 99 cents. On Utreon, it's $2.99. And on Odyssey, it's $4. You can also buy us a cup of coffee, maybe go over to PayPal and throw us a donation, or go to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. All those links will be in the description below. As always, Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.